Hi everyone, this is Amrinder. I'm part of Cisco Telepresence APAC team. So today in this session, I'm going to explain or tell you about the Cisco endpoints. So today's agenda is introduction to new endpoints. So I'm going to talk about Webex series, Room series, MX and SX series endpoints. We'll be discussing about presenter tracking, speaker tracking. We'll be also discussing about the endpoint registration issues in this session. So in Cisco Telepresence, these are the current available endpoints that can be registered on premise, or you can register these on cloud. If you start from the left, we have Webex Share, which is basically a Webex product. Then we have DX70, DX80. You guys must be aware that these were Android supported endpoints initially. Then these were moved to CE from CE 8.3.x. These endpoints are supported with CE versions, and from that version on, you can register these devices to CUCM, to VCS, or to cloud. MX200 and 300, these are the generation 2 endpoints. From generation 1, these were moved. These can be registered on cloud as well. The difference is between this screen size. 42-inch screen is there on MX200, and on MX300 we have 55-inch screen. Rest all is same. The config part, or if you talk about the camera resolution, the features that these two products introduce, they are exactly the same. Room 55, these are new generation Webex series endpoints. It comes in different flavors, like a single screen, or it can be a dual screen. Then we have MX700 55-inch. So this product comes with one of the product called SX80 codec installed at the back. So we have two screens. There are two cameras on top. These cameras can support speaker tracking, and we have SX80 codec, which I'm going to talk about later on, installed at the back of this unit. Similarly, we have room 55, that's the last one in the first row. This one looks similar to MX700, but the codec that we use is different on this one. On the left, second row, first series is the Webex Board series. These units were introduced with cloud registration only initially, and from CE 9.3 on, you can register these devices to on-premise as well. So now you can register these units even to CUCM or VCS. MX700 single, MX800 dual. So these are also using the same codec as SX80 as MX700 does. The difference between 700 and 800 is just the screen size. MX700 is 55-inch screen, and 800 comes with 70-inch screen. Now it comes with single screen, single camera, dual screen, dual camera. The reason why we introduced dual camera is for speaker tracking, so it can track a speaker within the room. Then we have room 70. It's a 17-inch screen. It has a different camera if you try to compare it with MX800. Comes in a similar fashion as MX series, because the way the screen, the speakers, the camera is mounted, the design looks same, but the internal hardware is different on these units. Then we have room 70 dual generation 2. Generation 1 and generation 2 has a small difference. So generation 1 comes with a RoomKit codec, basically a codec plus at the back of it. Room 70 comes with a Codec Pro. So the codec differs in these units. SX10, it's a small unit all-in-one with codec inside it, with a built-in camera, with a built-in microphone. All you need is just a monitor and a power supply to power it up. Once it is up, you can register it anywhere, on-premise, cloud, anywhere. And once it is registered, so you can make calls. Yeah, it's an all-in-one unit. Next one is SX20. SX20 is the only unit which used to support TC version in the entire portfolio that you see. So SX20 codec is the only one which was there with TC old 10-bug family, and it has been introduced to CE versions as well. Next codec is SX80. This one is among uh, the top layer codec, which has uh, all kind of mixers built in. So it allows you to have multiple input and HDMI output connections, and yeah, you can make uh, you can have multiple monitors plugged in and can have multiple inputs at the same time on this unit. This was the first unit which introduced speaker tracking setup, which can help a user to track a participant within a conference room without manually moving the camera towards him. So if someone is speaking in a room, this camera is capable enough to track the user and to zoom into it. The next codec is a RoomKit Mini and RoomKit. These two units look similar. Uh, the main thing is that these units have a built-in codec, built-in camera, built-in microphone. So plug and play unit, just plug it in and you can use it. RoomKit Mini, it can also be used as a USB camera. So if you don't want to register it anywhere, you can simply use a USB cable which connects from this unit to a laptop. You have your own soft client and you want to use this unit just to use it as a camera and a microphone. You can use the hardware of this unit for that purpose also. The next one is RoomKit Plus. It has a codec called Codec Plus, and you will see a bar which looks similar to the other codecs that I just spoke about. So it looks similar to RoomKit and RoomKit Mini. The difference is this RoomKit Plus has a quad cam. There are 4 cameras in this bar, and there is no codec inside it. So it's just a bar with just the cameras inside it. Codec is separate, which you can see in the picture also, which is Codec Plus. Which yeah, that's the only difference you'll see. Uh, Last one is RoomKit Pro. It's a high-end unit with all the uh, integrators inside. You have multiple input, multiple output ports. You can whatever features you have on SX80, you will get the same features on RoomKit Pro also. When I say integrator, I mean you can do different kind of audio consoling with this. If you want to do any sort of customization in the video input and output ports, uh, consoling is only possible with SX80 and RoomKit Pro units. So yeah, that's all about the new generation. Talking about the old gen, we have IX. So yeah, nothing much to talk about these units. These are old units, so most of the units are end of I'll say software support or will be getting out of software support soon. So we have IX series units, CTS units, we have profile units, second row, first unit, then we have profile 65, yeah, CTS units again, MX. So the one here is MX200 G1, MXP 6000, C40 unit. So yeah, all of these units are from the legacy side. We have MXP 1700, E20, yeah, so EX60, EX90. So these are all old units. Okay, let's talk about the first codec, which we talked a little bit earlier also. SX20, it's an entry-level codec. It was a replacement for C20 of the legacy setup. Uh, the difference is between C20 and SX20 is that it supports uh, hardware it is a small unit which was from the 10-bug family. It supports CE, it supports TC. When you run TC on this codec, you can have a TRC5 or a 4 remote control, which will work. You can use touch 8 with this unit. When you move it to CE9, you can have a TRC6 remote control, which is the latest model, or you can have touch 10. So yeah, based on what version of software you have running on this unit, you need to have different peripherals uh, for it to work. This unit will be getting end of life soon. Uh, it looks like AI is still orderable, but when it gets end of life, the replacement gonna be RoomKit and RoomKit Plus. The next unit is SX10. Small unit with camera, everything built in. You have options to share presentation using HDMI or video on this one. It has built-in microphone. You can have external microphone also. You have line out to connect external speakers to it. It has a 2.5 optical zoom camera. Field of view is 83 degrees on this one. You can have it turned on using a PoE adapter. I mean, you can have it turned on using PoE switch port, or you can have a standard adapter which you can plug in on this port to turn it on. MX endpoints. So this one is MX200 generation 2. The one has a white frame is generation 2. One with a black frame is gen 1. MX200 and 300, the main difference is the screen size. Yeah, that's the main part. So talking about, yeah, so this is what we just talked about. So single screen 42 inch, MX300 55 inch. Yeah, that's all about the audio specification, how much is the loudspeaker wattage, etc. Next codec is SX80 codec. Now this unit looks a little bit different from all the C series units if you have worked on these C series unit in past. When we talk about this unit, you take a look on left. There are three ports. These are Ethernet ports. The first port is the uplink port where you plug your network switch port. So this is the unit the port from which the codec will get an IP address. Port number 2 and port number 3 are the one where you plug in your peripherals. So if you have your cameras, if you have two cameras, you can plug it in. If you have a touch panel, you can plug to any of the ports. This codec from inside creates or send an APIPA address to these ports. So the pairing happens over the APIPA address that it shares. Even if you don't connect, maybe you don't connect a camera to it, you want to troubleshoot, and if you feel that the codec web GUI doesn't work, one easy way is just plug a laptop to this port. If your laptop has DSCP enabled on the network interface, it will receive an IP address which will be 169.xxx range. Whatever gateway you see, if you try to access that gateway on a browser, you will get the codec web page. Basically, codec internal routing sends an APIPA IP address to this that can allow these units to access the internal network of the codec. There are two USBs, not much of use. We have around 8 microphone ports on this one, so you can plug up to 8 ports. We have 3 inputs for HDMI, so you can have 1, 2, and 3 cameras, or you can have a combination of 2 cameras and a presentation, or you can plug it any way. Like just an icon here for a camera doesn't mean that you can only plug a camera to it. You can plug maybe a laptop to this also. All you require is to configure which port is sharing the presentation. That will be the only difference. Fourth port is for DVI. If you still use DVI cables in your setup, or a device that can only be plugged through the DVI on the codec side, you can plug that here. We have composite ports here as well. There are 2 composite ports. Next are 3 video output ports. So you can have your monitors plugged in on port number 1, port number 2. Port number 3 is for DVI connection. The last section is, the top one is COM port, which is for serial connection if you want to take serial access. If you need to troubleshoot anything when unit is not accessible, this will be a good option to try. The bottom port is the camera port. Now, in past, we used to connect our cameras to this port, which was called Visca port on the codec. This port used to provide power, used to provide camera control to the cameras. and the other side of the camera used to have an HDMI which plugs to the HDMI part of it. So one connection was for HDMI, which was for video signals. The other part was for the camera control, which connects to camera control over here. And next we have the power port. Basically, this is where the power supply or the transformer we have inside the box. And the last is the power button to turn it on and off if you need to. MX700 and 800, these we just talked about it. So it comes in different flavors. You can have one screen, one camera, two screen, two cameras, one screen, two cameras. So there are different combinations available for this. When you order this, you will receive screen, you will get speakers, you will get cameras, single or a cluster based on what you order, wall mount, stand, uh, yeah, all sort of options are available. The codec you get with this unit is SX80 codec. So basically on the left side, there is a panel. If you remove it, you have the actual codec installed right in front of this side. So if you need to do any cabling check, if you want to modify anything, or if you want to replace your unit, the codec itself, you need to just take off this panel. It's a magnetic panel, so no screws included. So just remove it, pull it out. You'll see the codec. There's a screw on top. There's a screw at the bottom on each side. Just remove those screws and you can pull the codec out. It's just a plug and play thing. When you replace it, you can just slide the new one in, uh, put the screws back on, put the cables on, connect the panel. That's all. So yeah, that's a screen difference that we just spoke about. So MX700 comes with 55-inch, 800 comes with 17 screen, between 5 to 10 speakers. So this 5 value depends if it's a single screen. There's not much space available when you use a single screen, so only 5 or maybe 4 speakers can be mounted based on how many because you still have to place your cameras in between this also. So yeah, maximum 5 or 10 speaker based on the model. Yeah, so that's all about the hardware specification. All of these units support 1080p content sharing. Yep, so content sharing can be for 1080p 30 for SX10 specifically. It can do on 5 frames per second. Rest all can do 30 frames also. SX80 was the only codec in past that used to support 265 H265 video codec. Yeah, so rest all can do 264 or 263. Yeah, so SX10 integrated camera, single screen. So yeah, this is all the specification about the codec side. So the new entry units we talk about, the one at the bottom is RoomKit. This is Codec Plus, and the one here is called QuadCam. It has just the cameras. It still requires a codec for the functionality. This is your touch panel. So RoomKit Plus is a combination of these two things. Codec Plus and RoomKit makes it RoomKit Plus. Single unit with everything built in, single camera. It is called RoomKit. That's the difference. You'll see a single camera in this. It's a cluster of 4. The entire feed. So based on the room design, Codec does all the picture settings, how it want to pull the which camera should be enabled and how it will take care of it. RoomKit, it's a small unit similar to SX20. There's a power button at the back, the jack to connect the power supply. This is your Kingston lock pinhole. So you have a pinhole here to reset your codec. So it's a hard reset option. If you need to factory reset your unit, this will be the place. Just press and hold it down for 10 seconds and it will reset. Ethernet port, but it shows a touch panel with a finger on it. It means it's for your touch panel connection. The next port is for uplink. Next one is for camera control. So you connect your quad cam or any other camera which is supported by this unit onto this port for the camera controlling part. HDMI input, because it has a camera, this will be your place to connect the cameras. Second, arrow in, which is input. You can connect another camera or anything that you like on this one. You can have your laptop or anything plugged into any of these ports also. Then we have two ports which are there for the output. These supports 4K resolution video out on screens. On calls, we still support 1080p. Some codecs do support 4K content sharing. Then we have USB for this is for future use as if now. We have 3 ports for microphone and we have 1 port for loudspeaker. RoomKit Plus. So the other screen I showed you. So this is the codec for it, and this is the camera we talk about. So there are 4 cameras in it. Field of view is 83. So yeah, it shows how far the user can be sitting in that room with the 6x zoom. 10 meters they can still be seated within the room. At the back of this unit, these are the ports that are available. I can just talk about the main ports that we mainly look for. This is your camera control. So your camera, so this is the back panel of it. From here, you need to have an Ethernet cable which goes from here and connects to your codec. You'll have a second cable which will be HDMI. Because you have your camera in the front with the lens. The feed is going and coming out from this port. You need to have a cable which plugs to this, an HDMI cable, and the other end connects to your codec. And then you need to power it on, and there is a power button. These are the main ports that you require. Along with that, you have a serial port, you have a line input. You can connect a subwoofer as well to this, and also there's a factory reset button if you see problems with the camera, and you can definitely go ahead and try factory resetting it. RoomKit. So it's an all-in-one unit. Again, the field of view on this one is 83 degrees. Yeah, that's mainly about it. You can have a user sitting in this room that could be around 5 meters within the range of this unit itself. At the bottom of this unit, you'll find all the ports which are there for the unit to connect different peripherals. So reset button. Reset button. We have power button to turn it on and off. Power button of power socket. This is where you connect the power supply. 2 ports for microphone. We have an audio output jack to if you want to connect speakers to it. Then touch panel port. Uplink port for Ethernet. You have Kingston log port here. HDMI out, so you can connect monitors to it. And there is one HDMI input port as well. It doesn't have any other HDMI for camera because this is the camera itself. So it has a built-in camera, so no need to have another one. You have USBs for future use. These are the locks on the sides of this unit. It comes with a couple of flaps. Those flaps can be connected to these 2 locks. And you can even mount this unit on top of your monitor. No need to have different casing or any stand for it to mount. Some FAQs for the RoomKit units, 4K content display. So local display could be 4K. Local content for transmitting could be 2160, 5 frames. You can have 1080p 30 frames or 720p 60. Main video source, a main video channel. So basically the call that you connect will still be on 1080p. Yeah, it also supports H265, similar to SX80. Yeah, so that's mainly all about it. Codec Pro. So this is a high-end unit with, if you take a look at this and compare it with the one that we just saw, you will see a huge difference in the number of input and output ports. We have around 8 microphone ports, couple of line input ports for audio. Then we have so many ports available for video input and output. So 1, 2, 3 ports for HDMI output to connect different screens to it with the 4K resolution support and audio. You can have 2 cameras and there are 3 more input ports available. So in total, you can have around 5 input connections to this unit. There are 5 Ethernet ports. One would be for uplink. This is the first one. Then you can have camera control. You have touch panel also. You also have a factory reset button here to factory reset it. Serial port looks like this one, a micro USB port now. And these are for future use. No such things you can do from the USB part of it. There is a port to connect your power cable from the wall jack, and this is your power button. You can connect different cameras to it. You can have P60 connected to it. You can connect a speaker track to this one. Yeah, rest all I've just explained you. This unit supports Wi-Fi. This unit also has the capability to use Bluetooth on it. Yeah, these are 2 new things on this one. RoomKit Mini. So it's a mini unit. Looks quite similar to RoomKit. Yeah, this has a feature to use it as a, a USB camera. So basically, you can use the USB port on this unit and use the camera and microphone to get the feed on the laptop, and use this as a hardware, or use it as a webcam to make video calls if you have your own soft client. Apart from that, rest all is quite similar to what we have on the other unit we just discussed about. It can register to cloud or it can register to on-premise. H23 and SIP both are supported on this. Webex Board, it's a touchscreen unit. So initially it came with the cloud registrations only. Later on, Cisco introduced on-premise registrations as well for this product. From 9.3 version on, you can draw and annotate from any device anywhere, and you can share that. You can share the data or the annotation you do on Teams also. That those options are available. Yeah, so it comes with these 2 panels. Basically, you can use it to draw different diagrams on this. It comes with different size: 85, 70, 55. Yeah, that's main about it. At the back, you'll have the power button, HDMI input, USB, factory reset button. Those are the main buttons. Nothing much fancy on the back of it. Just the main or the required ports to connect your peripherals. Yes, that's all about this unit. Room 55, Room 50, 70, and 70 generation 2. So these are new generation units. This one comes with a room kit. The entire bar at the top is room kit. This one comes with a Codec Pro, a Codec Plus unit. Generation 2, single or dual, these comes with, so generation 2 specifically comes with a Codec Pro, the new generation unit on this one. They all use touch 10. So yeah, that's just an overview of it. So it's a replacement for MX700, 800. Yeah, all the basic things that we have already seen on Codec Pro or on a Codec Plus. You will find that over here. Nothing different. A few things to talk about. So if you want to troubleshoot any problems, if camera doesn't work, of course, the first thing to check would be your exteriors on the camera side to see if the camera is really detected. Control part, HDMI part. If you feel that okay, there's some problem or there's an error on the exterior side of it, you need to take off this panel. It's a magnetic panel. You require at least 2, or maybe you can have 3 people to take off the panel on the top. We have seen instance wherein one person trying to take off the panel from one side of it. It's a magnetic panel. If you try to pull this out from one side, there's a chance that due to gravitation, the other side of it might fall down. When it fall down because of the magnet, it might slide the screen and might break it. So yeah, just keep in mind when you troubleshoot these units, you should have at least 2 guys to take care of it so that you can easily take the panel out and then try to troubleshoot. all the cables, everything relays through this panel. Once you take it out, you can see the speakers in the front. If you take one or two speakers out, the cables are behind this. There's a casing kind of a structure at the back where all the cables come on left side of the monitor, where you have their codec connected, and all the cables are connected to the codec. 17 screen for case. Yeah, so all this is the hardware specification. Microphones. So we have microphone 60, SX80, MX700, MX800. So all these units supports microphone 60, microphone 20. So this is the old generation microphone. Comes with 3.5 mm jacks. SX10, SX20, MX200, and 300. These all supports MX20 microphone or microphone 20. There are ceiling microphones available also. These are for room units. You can place it on your ceiling. It looks like this with a small connector kind of a thing, which you plugged here. The other end is or the back panel of this has an Ethernet port. It comes with different adapters. One side of the adapter is Ethernet, and the other end converts this into any kind of ports that you have on the codec. So it could be 3.5 mm, or you can convert this to a Euroblock, which that means that Euroblock is the port that we have on SX80 or Codec Pro. So it can be plugged to any of the units that we have. So this is what we just talked about. That's the small connector which I just talked about. You can connect the Ethernet cable. The other end of Ethernet cable connects to one of these Ethernet female ports, and you can just plug the other end to your codec. So your codec will be on one side, connects to this adapter. Then you can have an Ethernet cable that goes all the way to this microphone. We'll have a microphone connection like this. A few units have embedded microphone, which we already talked about. SX10, RoomKit, MX200, 300, and DX7080 all comes with the built-in microphone. But still, all of this unit allows you to connect external microphone if you want to. So microphone 20 is the one that you can plug to these. I'll say for top 3. For this one, because it's a desktop unit, so you can place it on a desk. It would not be used in a room, so you need not to have external microphone connected, but there is a port available to connect headphones or microphone of your choice. Yes. So cameras and tracking system. So yeah, the camera we have is P60 camera. Comes with 10x optical zoom. Yeah, it's all the hardware specification. Field of view is 80 degrees. Basis for the camera was MX700, 800. So this comes, I'll include SX80 also into this. So these are the 3 codecs you mainly plug it in. The new units, Codec Pro, Codec Plus, also support this unit now, P60. So you can plug this camera to those units also. P40 camera comes with 4x zoom, 2x digital zoom, so makes it 8 in total. Field of view is 70 degrees. So this camera is a part of MX300 generation 2. You can use it with SX20 also. 12x camera. This was old generation camera. We used to have 4x and 10x 12x cameras in past for C series, C40, C60, C90. 12x optical zoom with 72 degree field of view. 2.5, this was only designed for SX20 mainly. Later on, when MX200 G2 was introduced and SX10 was introduced, this camera is the one that is used on that unit. You cannot unmount this camera on MX200 and SX10, but this is the one which is there on those units. Speaker tracking. So just have a look on your P60 camera, which we just talked about. These units, these cameras, 2 P60 cameras combined together to make a speaker track setup with a panel at the back. So a speaker track is nothing but a combination of two cameras mounted on a speaker track array that takes care of the speaker tracking. We'll be discussing more in detail about this, but this is the one which we are using, which we sell as a product, a speaker track setup. You can use this unit with SX80, you can use it with C series also. There's a way to connect it and do the speaker tracking. SX80, when it comes with MX700, 800 units, these cameras come in a cluster. It's the same camera designed and set up in a different manner to easily connect to MX700, and these are mounted on top. So the cameras are placed upside down, and these are mounted on the top of the screens on MX700, 800. Quad cam. So it comes with 4 cameras. We already discussed about this part, so won't take much time on this. Then we have RoomKit. So all those units have tracking options. So even with 1 camera, you can still do the tracking. With 4 cameras, you can do the tracking. The difference between this is there's a digital or an optical tracking which happens on these units. In here, it's just the digital tracking that happens. All cameras keep an eye in the room. Based on what instructions are given to the camera, the active speaker is zoomed in based on the digital tracking that is being done intelligently within the software code itself, instead of moving the cameras left and right. The same thing can be done with a single camera also. So speaker track, it has a set of microphone arrays at the back of it. So this is a panel. If you take that panel out, there are microphones at the back of it. These microphones are responsible to track the user in the room. So if they consider this is a room and you have a self view, 2 users are there and speaking, it auto detect people in the room. Yeah. What it does is, if one person is speaking in a room, your speaker track array at the back will try to locate the location of the user. It will try to see where that user is located, and the data or the coordinates will be sent out to your this Moody. So this Moody will further send the data to Codec to ask the camera to move in specific direction, because the control is still with the codec itself. Codec is the one which is responsible to move the camera left and right. Speaker tracking allows a codec to get all the coordinates in a room so that it can zoom in the user. Then what codec does is, it will instruct camera to move in one specific direction where the coordinates it received for. And once it moves the camera in that direction, it does facial recognition. It tries to detect a face and zoom in. And that's how the recognition works on a speaker tracking. So yeah, framing the person speaking, this is what the tracking is all about. Speaker tracking, in theory, whatever we just discussed, it's just a theoretical part of it, what it does. There's another feature called presenter tracking. So if you have any old camera, instead of having the speaker track, there is a way that user can set a section or a part of a room in saved or configured in your codec code, and let the camera or let the codec decide that if anyone comes in one side of the room, that camera will zoom in. What I'm saying is, you have decided that this camera on the right will be responsible to do the presenter tracking. If any user come in these coordinates that we define on the codec itself, codec will ensure that if anyone comes in this direction, in this area, you need to go ahead and zoom the presenter, which makes and calls it a presenter tracking. So how you do it is, it's supported from CE 8.1. You can have P60 camera for this to work. When presenter tracking is not available, if you have multi-stream calls. How you configure is you need to access your endpoint web page. You go to setup and you go to presenter tracking. Under presenter tracking, you need to enable it and you click on configure. When you click on configure, it gives you a small box or a box to decide how much area of your camera view you want to cover. This will be the area that you would like to cover to zoom in. Basically, you choose a camera here, and as soon as you choose camera on your screen, you will see the actual feed. This is just a representation how it looks like. You can basically make this box and move it here. You will see a user, you make this box small and zoom in. That will become the small area which will be preserved for presenter tracking. If anyone comes in that area, it will get zoom in. It doesn't require speaker tracking, just a simple P60 camera standalone can do the job. So yeah, it's just a software code which we use to make the zoom in feature work, and yeah, an easy way to do presenter tracking. So this is the option that you see when you turn on speaker tracking. If you want to troubleshoot, if you see that this doesn't work, the user is standing in the podium in the area selected, and you still see the problem, here is an API you can trigger, and it will start showing the diagnostic mode on the screen that looks like this. It will start showing you the user face, different colors. Red scary percent trigger zone, yes 30% the crop image. And based on the log files, if you do X camera, you will be able to see the status if your presenter tracking is configured correctly or not. So yeah, something to look at. This will show you your pan tilt zoom values when for one specific camera when you zoom in. These are the values that we have. True means your speaker tracking is enabled. So yeah, this mainly about it. So multi-stream, it doesn't work. So presenter tracking is basically unavailable when you have a multi-site or multi-stream call. You will see this warning which will be there on the codec itself. Camera placement. This slide mainly tells you about how and the way or the best practices that you do to ensure that the camera is placed in a right direction, so that all the users or the room is covered for different kind of cameras and different kind of screen that you use when you set up a room itself. So yeah, you can basically just go through this slide once for your understanding. Basically, at what height, if you have a 7-inch screen, how much space you need to leave on top of your screen to the wall ceiling, how much space you need to leave from the base or from the floor to the screen, and where you need to place the camera. So it will just tell you the brief description about it. Just a view of the room. So based on the field of view, how your camera is placed, how much area should be covered. This is just a representation of it. There are different documents available on Cisco site to explain this in detail. So yeah, these screenshots were captured from the same slide itself. So yeah, if you have a screen like this, this is what we talk about. How much space should be left from the ceiling? It's not that you just it's a big screen and there's a small space left, you just place it right on near the ceiling. Should not, I mean, doing such will create problems for you. When I say problems, some noise or disturbance comes from the ceiling air conditioning. Sometimes users speak, the sound might strike the ceiling and may not reach the microphone correctly. Those issues create a lot of problems when doing speaker tracking. Manual camera tracking may work because it's more of a manual and zooming feature that you do. Okay, so the next topic would be troubleshooting, and the troubleshooting part is comes with the registrations. So these are the main issues that we usually see. When we see or when we try to set up a secure communication in CUCM, you need to enable mixed mode on CUCM side. So if you go to enterprise parameter config, uh, you need to have this value cluster mode to set to 1. If it is set to 0, that means it's not in a mixed mode. You will need to run a command to make it in a mixed mode. Once you do that, you can just have a look on this part once. Uh, Basically, once you go ahead and set this command utils set cluster mixed mode. As soon as you do that, it requires a restart of TFTP and call manager service on all the nodes that are running these services. Once you say yes, server is going to restart. Basically, you need to restart please. Sorry. So what I'm saying is, once you run the command, you say yes. You need to restart these two services by going to serviceability. Once you do that, you will be good to start the your secure registration. You need to going back to your phone profile, change your device security profile to secure. You should be good to set up the secure profile. So on the left is your actual phone security profile that you create first, and then you choose the same security profile on the right side. Once you do that, you need to install the CAPF again. Enable CAPF. That will be pushed to the endpoint. If required, you still feel that, you can go ahead and delete the existing CTL ITL files from endpoint by going into certificates CUCM section. Once you delete that, CUCM, you can just re-push the CAPF and endpoint will be securely registered. Yeah, so that's what we just checked. We need to turn the TLS verification on, upgrade success. Yeah, that's all about it. So you can check logs to see endpoint requesting for CTL ITL files. Yeah, you can do that. Yes. When you assign the CTL ITL files, the easy way to check would be from CUCM. If you do show ITL, and you can get the serial number for the ITL file that you push. And if you go to your endpoint, you can simply go to security CUCM certificates, and you can go ahead and compare your CTL and ITL serial number. It should be matching to what you have on CUCM to ensure that the new certificate was in place and installed. So yeah, that's one way to verify if the new certificate was installed. There are some uncommon registration issues that we come across when you try to register your endpoint to CUCM or to ECS. One of the most common is 485 MAGs, which is device mismatch. You are setting up a device, you need to ensure that you log into your Codec web page and take a look at this model number. There are chances that looking at the codec, it may look different, but the product may be different. The reason why is you might have got a codec plus that is the hardware part of it, but there is a chance that you install that codec plus inside a profile, inside a, a room 55 or something. In that case, the chances are that this product ID will differ. The hardware is same, but when you plug it or you connect it to a room 55, this product ID gets changes to different thing. We need to ensure whatever name we have here for the product is what there is there on the CUCM phone profile. If this mismatch, you are going to see this device mismatch error message because Codec is going to advertise this part of it, and there'll be different profile name that you will see on your CUCM part. So you need to get that part checked. Yeah, you need to make sure you pretty much use the same name that is there for this. Similar example is phone type Cisco DX70 and Cisco Telepresence DX70. The difference is Cisco DX70 was the Android version or the Android profile for DX series. Cisco Telepresence DX series is for the CE versions, the new version. So if you don't take a
correct look and just choose Cisco DX for DX70. And if it is not Android, you will see problems because this profile would not be liked by the endpoint for sure. It's an Android profile and unit must be running CE. So something good to remember. There's a chance that you replace a codec, like you replace a codec on MX800 or 700 unit. The problem that you might come across would be that the codec might show the product model as SX80. When you replace the device, you will still feel, okay, it's a MX800 codec. You need to choose MX800 from the phone profile of CUCM. But you need to go and check your endpoint model number again. This model should show MX700 or 800. Whatever is shown here, single screen, dual screen, or whatever, you need to make sure the same is chosen on your Codec side, on your CUCM side also. If there's a mismatch in this, definitely you will see the problem. If you MX800 codec and if it shows SX80 over here, which it shows by default because the hardware is SX80 codec, you need to go ahead and install the correct product key for your product. When you purchase or this unit, it comes with a set of keys and option keys. The product ID is the one which helps to make this unit from SX80 or from Codec Plus to a room unit or to MX700 800. So yeah, that will be the direction or to approach how to fix it. The second problem that or second error you can see would be empty URI. Log shows that CPU array is inactive. When you check the endpoint logs, this is what you see. So all you need to do is you need to come and manually configure the setting. If this is empty, there's a chance that you will see the error message, and this shows inactive in that case. There here something that does happen. 404 not found. This happens when the device phone profile has no linked associate. You will see 404 not found error message. You need to have your DN configured on your phone profile on the left side of the phone profile page. If you miss that, yeah, this is the problem you'll encounter. 405 method not allowed. Yeah, you will see this problem mainly when you're trying to register your device to CUCM via expressway. So you'll have a MRA registration on your endpoint that will be registered to CUCM. It might show you this error message. The logs will show you something like this: unable to find device in database 404 not found. Uh, yeah, when you check further, the main reason or the common issues that we have seen are your security profile is configured with port 5060 and your neighbor zone is also using the same port. So that's the reason there is a port conflict basically that creates a problem. So you need to change the port, may possibly on your zone. You can go ahead and set this value to maybe 5060 like this one. Save it, and that should fix the problem that you will be encountering. 404 not found, unable to find device. So yeah, this happens when the MAC address, which is the actual MAC address on your endpoint, differs to the MAC address that we have on your phone profile. If there's a mismatch, this is likely be the cause. So you need to cross-check the MAC address. You can check the MAC address on the web page of your endpoint. If you go to System Info on the first screen, from the SSH session also, if you try to SSH to your unit, you can do X status system unit. And in there you will find the MAC address also. So there are two ways you can find it out, and you can go ahead and compare that with your phone profile and ensure that it's same. If it is different, yeah, that will be the problem. Security denial, yeah, one of the endpoint registration problem with VCS. You need to check your policies that are there on your expressway. If the registration policies are set to deny, this will be the problem. You need to set this to allow, and you need to set the allow list accordingly. Last topic is fail to send. this also come across. So it means we are trying to send a registration request to our say proxy or to the VCS or to the gatekeeper, and it says fail to send. It could not send the registration out. A PCAP might help you to see that we have send SYN packet trying to do the retransmission again and again, and it fails. Probably need to check the network side where the packets are getting lost or these are getting locked somewhere. So yeah, that's all about it for session 1 on endpoint. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to post that in. Thank you for your time, guys.